What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Mitsune Nika, and today I just can't, man. This mythical guy really getting on my nerves. Like, I actually cannot right now with this guy. He got my Twitter suspended. He's now friends with Brother Near 2.0. That stupid criminal is friends with him now, and worst of all, they are still insisting that I'm a pedophile over my precious little drawings, bruh. I am actually upset right now because everything I've ever accomplished on Twitter is just gone now. I'm back to square one, and it's all thanks to those two good-for-nothing troublemakers, Mythical and then Brother Near 2.0. I genuinely cannot believe they got away with something as stupid as this. Like, this is absolutely bonkers, bruh. They took everything from me. Everything. You all have let me down hard. You ruined my Twitter clout. They won. How am I supposed to ruin people's lives without my Twitter clout? I can't. It's not possible. I'm just dust now. Compared to these people, my whole purpose in life is ruined because of them. Why does the groomer get to get away with what he's doing, but not me? What's so wrong with liking fictional kids? Why can't I be a pedophile in peace? Like, I'm just done at this point. I hope Brother Near and Mythical savor this imaginary W of theirs while it lasts, because I'm done. Now, if you'll excuse me, I'm going to go hide behind my closeted pedophile echo chamber and say nasty things about every single one of you guys. This has been Mitsune Nika. Bye.
Hiya, Sean. I'm back. Did you miss me? Oh, this? It's nothing. It's just there to remind you and me of our past. Seems like it's coming right back at you. So, Sean, here we are again. Looks like you've never learned your lesson. Not only have you continued your misdeeds on me, but you have done so to others as well. Mainly two other people that will have their own spotlight when the time is right. In the meantime, buddy, you're dealing with me now. I want to spoil myself today by taking the piss out of your misfortune, and watch as you keep crying to your echo chamber of Lolicons. Now, let's get started.
So a lot has happened since my original video about ShaunTheLegend, and the gist of it is, he just keeps digging his grave deeper and deeper. We're going to take a deep dive into this madness and see what Sean's been up to, starting with this 3-hour-long revolutionary clusterfuck of a video. I ignored it beforehand as a troll because I knew Sean couldn't take his own medicine, but the reason we're going to go over a small portion of the video is because I think it's pretty relevant and Sean has since tripled down on it. For those of you that are out of the loop and are watching this instead of the first one, I'll give you a basic rundown. ShaunTheLegend is a YouTuber that was exposed for consuming Lolicon. Lolicon is the sexualization of lolly characters, and lolly characters are depicted as underage girls. Ever since awareness had been spread about Sean's inherently pedophilic attraction, Sean decided to resort to the average Lolicon deflection tactic by committing slander against me and labeling me as a groomer. Sean's quote-unquote evidence of me being a groomer is one screenshot where I made an ambiguous joke towards Kim Josh-un, a close friend of mine on Discord and YouTube. Some Lolicons decided to take this as ammunition, and that's when I made this video. And now, the cycle continues, as Sean has since tripled down on this and a whole lot more. Firstly, we're going to go over his video right here, this 3-hour-long one. Most of the video is not relevant, and so I'm focusing on two portions, the one about me and the one about Ween. So, let's get to it.
Alright, for the third topic of the video, we're going to be taking a look at this content creator / commentary channel named Ween, who made 3 videos on the whole Lolicon situation that happened on Twitter. And we're going to be taking a look at his most recent video today. We're not going to be taking a look at all 3 videos, and we're only going to be covering a few small portions of his video. We're not going to be taking a look at the entire thing.
Just a quick spoiler, but Sean only ends up like covering 10% of Ween's video. There are so many arguments that Ween argues against, and Sean only responds to like 3 major points. Talk about cherry picking first of all. If anything, your argument grows weaker if you don't even want to acknowledge 90% of the arguments that Ween makes.
Saying that something is technically not illegal or studies to justify your attraction to childlike features is enough to completely disregard your opinion. It is within my belief that any media that is sexualizing minors or people that are attracted to childlike features have no reason to be justified. These people need help, and there is no reason to enable them. This is my opinion. A lot of people share this opinion, but many technicalities cause it to be just that. An opinion. Those videos were never supposed to be anything more than that, and despite saying as such, they acted as though it was supposed to be an analytical hit piece on anime fans for spreading illegal material, quote unquote.
So I want to touch upon his point right here of childlike. Now, let's look at what the definition of childlike is.
My god, Sean, you have no sense of quality control whatsoever. It's bad enough that your mic quality is shit and you don't edit out dead air and stuttering all throughout the video, but there are also moments like this where you are cut off in your own audio. Please learn how to properly do voiceovers and properly edit your videos. It's no wonder after all this time you're still at 2,000 subscribers. Well, that's at least one major reason, is because you don't know how to edit your videos and you don't know what proper quality control is.
Of an adult having good qualities associated with a child. So when you refer to something or someone that's childlike, it is still an adult. They just have good qualities associated with the child. You're not talking about someone being an actual child.
Let me put it as simply as I can for your dense skull, Sean. What Ween is saying is if someone is specifically attracted to childlike features on a person, that makes them a pedophile. You love to play it off as an odd reason, but instead, it seems like you're just playing coy. He wasn't just talking about minors in that context, he was also talking about the specific attraction towards childlike features. Just put two and two together, Sean.
So I don't know why he's trying to use this right here to support his claims and also to just body shame people as well, which is what he'll do in the comment section of his video. I'm just going to put the image up on the screen.
See, this is why you should not cherry pick what Ween says in his video, because this is something he brings up.
The "it's not real and doesn't represent anything in real life" argument falls flat on its face when you realize that they're constantly trying to tell you that these images depict previously mentioned petite women, and will go so far as to say that you're demeaning, shaming, or otherwise dehumanizing real-life short women. Now that they've inadvertently acknowledged that this is an attraction that plays into real life, we can now compare the previous analysis of exclusively childlike features and say that even if they aren't looking for children in real life, they're looking for women with exclusively childlike features, the pre-developmental kind, which are only found in adults with genetic defects and are so rare that at best this is an age kink. Also, the concept that you're shaming somebody for having a body type is absolutely true, especially since this is the body type. I think most people would shame your preference of body type if it looked like a child.
You know you've made a shit response when all you do is regurgitate the same arguments against a video that addresses the exact same argument that you conveniently don't respond to. If any more instances like this come up, I'll just play another clip from Ween's video, because it's actually pretty funny how easy it is to just dismantle his arguments, because, you know, they've already been dismantled.
Basically, he's saying that it's an issue for someone to be attracted to an adult with childlike features for some reason. I don't know, I don't know if he's thinking that's like pedophilia or something like that, which we're going to touch upon as well, what the definition of that even means, because he's not even using it in the correct way in this video.
He quite literally does, but okay.
But I want to touch upon what you said a few seconds ago at the beginning of the video about how you said that your two previous videos on Lolicon upset a lot of degenerates and weebs, when the only reason that they were even upset in the first place was because you spreaded a lot of misinformation around and didn't even bother to fact check or cite your sources of half the things you were saying, and that's what made your two videos utter dog water to begin with.
He never explains what misinformation he spread in those two videos. The only thing we could find is that he, got the age wrong of one anime character by a little bit. Okay. It's still a child.
My opinion is that many, not all, lolicons are pedophiles. My goal with this video is to give you an explanation for this opinion and hopefully sway yours over to this side. Even if you don't agree that it's pedophilic in nature, I do want to present the argument that this form of media should not exist, or at very least has no reason to outside of complete degeneracy. This is a community built on harassment, projection, and hypocrisy for the sake of defending material so vile that it is illegal in many developed countries and only isn't explicitly considered child porn in the United States because of a loophole. I'm making this video in such a format because there have been several requests by non-lolicons to provide an analysis outside of reactionary or opinionated content.
Look, Wayne, I'm trying to argue and debunk your points in good faith, but when you say stuff like it's only legal because of some loophole in America or some other stupid stuff like that, it's not making it very easy for me, because at this point I'm starting to feel like, maybe I should just clown on you for the rest of this darn video for saying something so stupid and tinfoil hattish.
There's literally no other way to describe it other than a loophole. The only reason Lolicon is not explicitly illegal is because of artistic value, which is something that Wayne himself explains in this video, but let's see if you end up covering that instead of just brushing it off as stupid. Probably not, knowing you.
But you know what? I'm not going to do that. I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and just keep going and just, refute your points properly as I can. But I also want to hear you explain why you think that this stuff is CP and everything, and just explain it in general, your whole stance on it, and why you think this, what's your reasoning for it. I'm hoping you're going to do that throughout the rest of this parts of the video that I'm going to be covering, but I highly doubt it, and besides, it's not going so well for you right now anyways with what you already said.
I love how he's gonna say it's not going well for Ween because of what he said, but Ween has barely said anything. We're not even that far into his video. Oh, and hey dumbass, if you want Ween to just explain why he thinks Lolicon is CP, then maybe, I don't know, let the video play and you'll find out. This section of your video did not need to exist if all it amounts to is, well, I hope you explain why you think it's CP, but so far it ain't looking good for you, buddy, even though I'm only like 2 minutes into your video. Seriously, Sean, learn how to properly commentate. You don't need this much filler.
I respect the opinions of those that don't sexualize minors, so I will oblige. Going forward, I need to clarify some things and make a few disclaimers to set up proper context for this discussion. The term pedophile refers to those who are sexually attracted to children or childlike features.
No, that's actually wrong, Mr. Ween. You only got the first part right. It has nothing to do with childlike features at all. Childlike features has to do with adults itself.
Yes, but the exclusive attraction to childlike features is pedophilic, when someone is actively looking for someone that's a child or has childlike features. That is pedophilic. Like, bro, are you actually... No, I'm not even gonna ask. You are that stupid.
Here is the definition of pedophilia. It is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experiences a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to prepubescent children, although girls typically begin the process of puberty at age 10 or 11, and boys at age 11 or 12. Criteria for pedophilia extend the cutoff point for prepubescent to age 13. According to DSM-5-TR, a person must be at least 16 years or older and at least 5 years older than the prepubescent child for the attraction to be diagnosed as a pedophilic disorder. Now, the pedophilic disorder is explained in the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders, which right here explains that over a period of at least 6 months, recurrent, intentionally sexually arousing fantasies, sexual urges, or behaviors involving sexual activity with a prepubescent child or children, generally aged 13 years or younger. The individual has acted on these sexual urges, or the sexual urges or fantasies cause marked distress or interpersonal difficulty. C. The individual is at least age 16 years and at least 5 years older than a child or children, criteria A. Note, do not include an individual in late adolescence involved in an ongoing sexual relationship with a 12 or 13-year-old. Specified whether exclusive type, attracted only to children, non-exclusive type. And then we also get into paraphilic disorders as well, which included in this manual are voyeuristic disorder, exhibitionist disorder, and then many other things. But the most important parts is right here. Pedophilic disorder, sexual focus on children, noxious or potential harm to others, are classified as criminal offenses. The 8 listed disorders do not exhaust the list of possible paraphilic disorders. Many dozens of distinct paraphilias have been identified and named. The diagnoses of the other specified and unspecified paraphilic disorders are therefore indispensable and will be required in many cases.
That's all fine and dandy, but I really have to beg the question on how you can sit there and explain the definition of pedophilia in its entirety, and then actively go against this definition when it comes to Lolicon. You can say it's not real, and you can say that they're just drawings and that they don't cause real harm, but I don't see anything from these documents that claim that the sexual attraction towards minors cannot come from drawings like Lolicon. Because as explained in the definition you just read out to us, pedophilia can involve fantasies of doing such horrific acts. And what is Lolicon? A fantasy of someone doing such horrific acts. I rest my case.
As you can see, all the important parts are highlighted right here, but clearly Ween himself has not done that much research, because this is coming from an actual case study right here. This is coming from an actual study of disorders.
Your study does not exonerate Lolicon for being pedophilic material. You're just trying desperately to separate the two when it is in fact pedophilic in nature. It is actually quite funny that you can't just put 2 and 2 together.
And the largest apparent group of them is the ones that view and distribute sexually explicit depictions of children ages 12 and under and proudly announce their love for the material. I'm not talking about quote-unquote petite women, as the bodily features of many of these depictions more closely resemble that of a prepubescent child than a short woman, and not even by a margin. The material depicts children that are barely old enough to walk, performing unknowing sexual acts. More often than not, rape is also a part of these depictions, frequently showing the children in obvious distress. Other features to note would be more stubby limbs, amongst other features only apparent in those going through early developmental stages. Lack of an hourglass shape and figure, facial expressions that convey a lack of understanding and innocence. Those are among a few key features that, apart from the stylized faces, make this art only comparable to minors. Keep in mind that stylization is meant to give emphasis to the childlike features. I also don't believe that these people are traditional pedophiles, that being someone who has a natural attraction to children. I believe lolicons are porn addicts who went down a rabbit hole looking for the next best thing to get off to until they reached the very, very bottom of the barrel in terms of degeneracy. I think that these people can change back to the way that they were, maybe through therapy or whatever, but they are choosing to be a pedophile because they essentially don't want to go through a porn detox. Speaking directly to those of you that are lolicons, if you do not want to be called a pedophile, then you have to change, not us.
First of all, you're saying that this type of content and artwork is depicting minors and that it has minors in it, which is completely false. It's not depicting or showing any actual minors at all in it.
No, dumbass, that's not what he's saying. He's not talking about if real children are in it. He's talking about the characters that are featured in Lolicon. They are children. And I also love how you brought up this one character that is apparently 42 years old. Now let me ask you this. If she's 42 years old, why the fuck does she look like she belongs in kindergarten? And I also looked up this character, but her daughter is 13 and she already looks older than this character who is apparently supposed to be her mother. What the fuck am I looking at? Also, keep in mind another example he brought up is Homura Akemi, and bro, she is literally 14 years old. How can you sit there and say they aren't minors when they are very clearly labeled as such?
I don't know why people keep trying to correlate this to like actual real life children, like actual minors and real life abuse that happens to them. Your own government keeps telling you to stop reporting these drawings and to stop correlating this stuff to actual minors.
The reason why I'm not reporting it to the police is that I can do more on the internet to spread awareness about this vile community than I'd be able to in real life. Also, as the court of law might not care about your consumption of this material because of its quick dismissal, your place of employment might. I know this, and I know that's why you refuse to show your face online. It's also why I made this post that successfully managed to bait a handful of people into showing their face.
I mean, it literally says right here that this stuff has to be indistinguishable, used with respect to depict means virtually indistinguishable, and that the depiction is such that an ordinary person viewing the depiction would include that the depiction is of an actual minor engaged in sexually explicit conduct. This definition does not apply to depictions that are drawings, cartoons, sculptures, or paintings depicting minors or adults. And then it also says right here that this darn stuff would have to be indistinguishable from an actual minor, as it shows right here on the screen. These drawings are not depicting any minors at all in this type of conduct.
Once you manage to illustrate the fact that this media is pedophilic, they'll probably point out that it is not real and no children were harmed, so it is okay. My issue with the existence of this material is that it allows people to pursue and justify their attraction to minors. I don't believe that lolly hurts children directly. I believe it hurts the consumer. Porn consumption has been shown to increase both non-sexual and sexual aggression, study linked below, and to say that these people are porn addicts would be an understatement, as almost every aspect of their online presence can be correlated to porn, usually lolly porn. I think it's apparent nowadays how detrimental porn addiction can be for most people, and it shouldn't be too hard for you to find videos on why that is on YouTube, so I'm not going to really bother linking anything. Since lolly is a depiction of children and most consumers acknowledge that they won't find anyone with their body type to date legally, it most likely has various unknown impacts on their life. I would speculate that their perception of people, children specifically, relationships, and so on, would be impacted. The only way to gratify themselves sexually in a real-life scenario would be through age play, childlike sex dolls, or committing an offense against a minor. While I believe that age play is degenerative, it is between consenting adults. However, the chance that they'll find a partner who will participate in that is low, meaning the chances for the other options are higher. Not high, mind you. Most of them will likely just jerk off in their room for all of eternity, but we can't just brush past the fact that these people might eventually seek out other options if left to degenerate even more.
I feel like creators and people who think like this about lolly content is probably the reason why stuff like this happens right here with the True Crime Daily post, or is probably the reason stuff like this right here happens.
What they will bring up next is the argument that because you're spending time being repulsed by hand-drawn child porn, that you don't actually care about child victims, because if you did, you'd focus on that instead. I can hate pedophiles, child predators, and be sympathetic towards victims at the same time. I don't have the knowledge to expose pedophiles. I tried that once with somebody, but I can never get the guy's information, and all of my efforts were futile. I don't have money to donate to victims, and I don't have time to do nonprofit work. At the end of the day, I'll try to do something good, but if I make no money from it, I can't do anything. I can make money from this and spread awareness to potentially harmful, degenerative things. It's about what's within my power to do at the moment, and not what I want to do to help. I'm going to make videos regardless. Whether it helps people or not isn't my main concern. This isn't me trying to help children, as I've already acknowledged that lolly doesn't directly harm them. This is me trying to get the degenerates who consume it to get help, or have somebody have them get help because the media is harming them. These lolicons are right for not wanting to be called pedophiles, but the way to not be called a pedophile isn't to redefine the term, it's to stop consuming pedophilic material. I believe the existence of lolly is watering down the term pedophile because it's very slowly normalizing pedophilic material. Pedophilic material, media, and people should not be ignored, even if it's not comparable to the worst that wear the label. Just because it exists in a lesser degree does not mean that we should adjust the stigma for those people. Hopefully, the jarring nature of the word will help people acknowledge the reality of the media that they consume and either stay away from it or seek professional help. Furthermore, my previous point on the definitions is further proven through the paper Child Molesters, a Behavioral Analysis on pages 35 through 37, where the author clearly defines what a pedophile is and also compares it to child molesters in a separate definition.
I mean, when you're literally being told over and over again to stop talking about this type of content, stop relating it to real life abuse, and stop reporting it.
Not once has Ween ever reported said content, and not once has he correlated Lolicon to actual real life abuse. Ween has acknowledged in this very video that you're responding to that Lolicon does not directly harm real children, but he stands by the fact it is still pedophilic in nature. You do know that pedophiles can exist outside of committing predatory crimes, right?
Because it's not helping anyone and it's not depicting anything of what you're talking about.
It's not real and doesn't represent anything in real life argument falls flat on its face when you realize that they're constantly trying to tell you that these images depict previously mentioned petite women, and will go so far as to say that you're demeaning, shaming, or otherwise dehumanizing real-life short women. Now that they've inadvertently acknowledged that this is an attraction that plays into real life, we can now compare the previous analysis of exclusively childlike features and say that even if they aren't looking for children in real life, they're looking for women with exclusively childlike features, the pre-developmental kind, which are only found in adults with genetic defects and are so rare that at best this is an age kink. Also, the concept that you're shaming somebody for having a body type is absolutely true, especially since this is the body type. I think most people would shame your preference of body type if it looked like a child.
I'm pretty sure you should sit down and actually listen for one.
The amounts of projection are insane in this video.
You may find it redundant to point out these things, as most of you have the mental capacity to infer context, but I have to add these, otherwise everything presented will be discredited on a miswording or communication error, because obviously that's more important than subject matter and morals involved.
You've already been disproved, Ween, and we're not even halfway through the darn video.
Everything you tried disproving Ween with is literally countered in his video, and it's no wonder why you don't even respond to the entire thing, because you know that you cannot respond to the entire thing without making yourself look not only stupid, but pretty vile as well.
Also, I've already explained what it takes for someone to be considered a pedophile. Darn lolly drawings and everything Does not make you one at all.
You know what's crazy about your explanation and sources on how it doesn't? Ween also has sources in his video, and you don't even address any of these sources. This is such a pathetically common deflection from lolicons like yourself, as the only sources that matter to them are the sources that they provide, and everything else is deemed misinformation just because they said so.
I'm going to start by presenting my argument, and then I will play devil's advocate at every possible opportunity using arguments made by this group, followed up by my own counter-argument. Let's start as such. Lolicons are pedophiles. The first argument that you might hear is that loli are petite women and not comparable to children, therefore it is not comparable to pedophilia. I've already distinguished the specific group of loli that I'm presenting in my argument, that being material that looks explicitly like children. I'm going to present to you a silhouette of a short adult woman. Now here's one of a child. Even under the circumstance where you argued that the short woman would have less body fat, smaller proportion in the tits and ass, they are far from comparable. I acknowledge once again that there is a portion of loli that is petite women that you could argue that they're overage, and even though this category is also degenerative and I personally think that they all look like young teenagers, I won't call the people that get off to this category pedophiles. They would probably follow up calling this comparison hyperbolic, which I've noticed downplaying the nature of this material in the public eye is common.
No, it's not. It's not CP at all, and it is not illegal at all to be in possession of this darn material. What are you talking about?
Okay. Sean, listen to me very carefully. Not once did Ween, in this part of the video, ever bring up the supposed legality of Lolicon. He is literally talking about the distinction between children and petite women. Where in that section of the video did you get legal ramifications? Not once did he bring that shit up. Oh my god. You're actually stupid. ShaunTheLegend, ladies and gentlemen. This is him at his absolute peak intelligence, bringing up something that is completely irrelevant to the point that Ween is making.
Did you do even a slight bit of actual research on this instead of just using outdated laws and sources and stuff?
We never brought up any outdated sources. The clip you are responding to doesn't even hint at anything law-related.
It literally says right here that it has to be images indistinguishable from an actual minor, and images created, adapted, or modified but appear to depict an identifiable actual minor. Also, right here, by a verified lawyer and licensed attorney in the federal court. Accordingly, the Supreme Court has ruled that it's not against the law to possess something like Lolicon because it is not actual CP.
And this is why Ween calls it a loophole in the US government, because they have laws on obscenity where visual representations of kids in sex acts, whether they be drawn or not, is against federal law, but the only reason it's not enforced as much is because people find artistic value in Lolicon. This is something that Ween addresses in the video that you have just ignored because you want to cherry pick what Ween says.
And there are many different sources that I have that showcase that it has to be indistinguishable from an actual minor in order for the stuff to be considered CP, like you keep saying that it is for some reason.
Okay, but it's not illegal. True, it's not illegal, but neither is pedophilia. Pedophilia is only illegal when acted upon, but we don't really like pedophiles regardless. Pedophiles can legally use their imagination to get off to their fantasy, but do we think that's okay? Most would say no, especially when you consider that there is treatment, such as medication that kills your libido, and that you can get this treatment without breaking the law. They like to say that their critics can't tell fantasy from reality, but we already treat pedophiles' fantasies to keep them from making it a reality, if that tells you anything. Also, we know from a source listed down below that Lolicon is used by the majority of self-identifying pedophiles, which I believe has created an argument that you should just let the pedophiles use this material to cope so then they don't hurt kids. But we already have treatment available that doesn't require any sexualization of minors, depiction or not. We don't need it as a solution because we already have solutions. Not to mention, there isn't a 0% chance of loli reaching somebody who has never thought about it, but is now attracted to it.
Even if you use the Protect Act of 2003, which was also ruled unconstitutional because two parts of it were criminalizing certain depictions without having to go through the Miller test.
I'm just going to skip the rest of this because it's nowhere relevant to what Ween is actually talking about. in terms of what Sean is responding to, which is the distinction Wayne was making between petite women and children.
Next is that the actual age of the character is not what it looks like.
So to show you guys just how much of the video Sean just skipped, he went from the 5-minute mark where Wayne was talking about petite women, all the way to the 16.5-minute mark where Wayne addresses this specific point. That's 11 minutes of counter arguments and debunking that Sean just casually skipped over. Not a good look at all, buddy.
As displayed here, a character that I showed as an example in a previous video was not 5 as I originally thought, but 12. I would like this time to say that I still think that the character looks 5 years old, and that 12 is still far below the age of consent. I would like to follow up that this person also posted rape porn of this 12-year-old character shortly after. Credit to Mason on Discord for these screenshots.
Look, Wayne, I don't know what's stupider, the fact that you thought that character was actually freaking 12 years old, or the fact that you think this character looks 5, or how about the fact that you brought in the age of consent when it comes to a fucking anime drawing?
If she's not 12 years old, then what is she? You can't just deflect with the fact it's a drawing, because that drawing is a character, and a character is supposed to represent someone. So if this someone is not 12 years old like it is canonically stated, then what is she?
You literally just used the age of consent on a freaking anime drawing, talking about, so, well, she's not 18. Dude, it's a fucking drawing.
A drawing of what, Sean?
Like, it doesn't exist and it doesn't have an actual real age.
Why are people saying she's 12 in order to correct Wayne then? Your argument is mute when there are people in the same side as you arguing the opposite. I will repeat my earlier point as well. If she's not 12 years old, like the other Lolicons are saying, then what is she? No matter how many times you want to insist that it's just a drawing, that drawing is supposed to represent something or someone.
They say things like, the people who are most verbally opposed to us usually have the most skeletons in their closet. They have this narrative that anyone who criticizes them is a quote-unquote real pedophile, which I wholeheartedly believe to be a silencing tactic, as those who are critical of pedophilia are going to be the ones who would want to avoid ever hearing that as an accusation at any cost. I've seen countless comments from people on Twitter saying how it's only a matter of time before I get outed as a pedophile. In most cases, people who interact with this community quickly become exhausted with the mental gymnastics that these degenerates run you through and give up on trying to argue with the same handful of points thrown at them over and over and over on loop. Their tactics oftentimes work, but I'm wholeheartedly confident in the fact that I have nothing to hide. Maybe a few embarrassing things, but nothing on this level. Anyone that knows me knows how critical I've always been on this topic and knows that I'm critical even of pedophilic jokes that are simply edgy. There are even a lot of old Eminem songs that I can't even listen to because of the subject matter and graphic detail. I don't care about a lot of topics that I cover, and I'll say that because I make videos to make videos, not to talk about drama. But I absolutely, vehemently despise anything pedophilic to the point where I am critical of a good portion of pornographic material in general just because of the sexualization of things like barely legal and incest dynamics. Even though my own limits and preferences exist, I don't hold it against most people who consume the vast majority of porn, but I draw a very clear line when it comes to anything explicitly pedophilic.
While I don't condone the idea of people calling you a pedo over this situation or saying that it's only a matter of time until you get outed as one, considering the fact that all you're doing is just, saying that lolicons are pedos over a bunch of drawings, of course,
Oh my god. Now I actually kinda regret not making a response to this sooner. You said you don't condone calling someone a pedophile over a situation like this? Sean, you literally do the exact same fucking thing. You've done it to me and others. You had an entire escalating drama with me because you resorted to calling me a groomer. You don't condone this, yet you are actively doing it. I don't know if you're just being hypocritical or if you suffer from short-term memory loss, but you can't just play it off like you're somehow better than others. You are the same.
I do think that it's very funny that you say that you are also critical of very pedophilic type of jokes or creepy jokes and all that, even edgy ones, and yet you're friends with Brother Near 2.0 and you even point him out in this video for helping you, and yet this guy is the same one who made a sexual joke towards a minor named Kim Josh-un.
Oh, really now? Let's see what Ween has to say about that.
The argument that's being made here is that this is a sexual advance on a minor because of this one screenshot, and I really gotta beg the question, are you fucking mentally retarded? Like, are you so fucking brain dead that you look at this and you're like, this is pedophilia? These are the people, keep in mind, right? You go to their Twitter profile, you click on it, you go to their likes, right? You scroll down on that. Animated child porn. But this is pedophilic. The argument is that there's implications here, sexual implications here, but I really don't see it. Like, there is nothing in this. This is such a nothing debate, right? You get these people that just make these absurd arguments for the sake of making them. They make these arguments to subvert your attention away from the fact that, you know, they're doing questionable activities, and they're like trying to at least bring you down to their level or make it seem worse. So they take the most out of context thing that they possibly can. And I don't think that there was really any context to this to begin with, like, that would have made it any better or worse. It's just simply something that you say to, I don't know, a close associate, like, I don't know. Threats are jokes. You're not a man if you don't look at a threat as a joke, coming from a friend at least, right? You threaten fucking everybody that you know.
Now, this is what we call a rules for thee, but not for me moment right here, because I firmly believe that as long as you're cool and in their group, it's okay for you to make any kind of edgy joke that you want about anything.
Except the joke wasn't sexual, it was ambiguous in nature, and people started interpreting it that way only because Josh himself made it sexual on Twitter as a joke. This tweet of his had been up for, I'm pretty sure, almost a year at that point, and then you and others began to escalate it into something it wasn't. That's pretty much it for his section on Wayne. Now he's going to talk about me in this video. Sean covers Twitter drama before that involves me, Wayne, and other big YouTubers like Augie RFC and Turkey Tom, and he defends the fact they were harassed and some of them were suspended off Twitter. The only reason they got suspended is because they were falsely mass flagged due to the fact that they were calling out Lolicon for being pedophilic material and calling Lolicons themselves pedophiles. Because whenever you refuse to back down from a bunch of Lolicons harassing you and calling you the real pedophile for arguing against Lolicon, they start mass flagging you as a last resort. Lolicons don't mass flag people on Twitter because they are the good guys and have done nothing wrong. They mass flag people because they want to silence them, because they are incapable of accepting reality and instead resort to tactics like this. And, you know, whenever they are the ones that get a taste of their own medicine, they end up throwing a hissy fit. The irony speaks for itself, but we'll dive deeper into that later. Let's get into the section where Sean talks about me now.
Part 5, the final part of the video. The Brother Near 2.0 Lolicon drama. Where do I even start with this? For those of you who have been keeping up with the situation, you should already know most of what happened. But there is much, much more. Alright, now before we get into this whole situation between me, Brother Near 2.0, and the whole Lolicon situation on Twitter and on YouTube, I just want to play a few audio clips from his Twitter audio circle space, where he makes claims that if Lolicon is legal going by my logic, then that would also mean that child marriage is also legal as well in Palestine.
No, what I was saying was an argument made from a testimony from my friend Michael McDoesn't exist. The argument was, if Lolicon is okay because it's not illegal, then by your logic, child marriage in Palestine pre-pandemic is okay because it's not illegal. You should try paying attention once in a while. It's a good thing to do when arguing something.
He also invites a minor into his Twitter audio space to debate with him on the adult topic of Lolicon for some darn reason.
I did not invite him. He joined the Twitter space himself. Plus, I didn't even know who this person even was at that point. I just knew them as a random somebody that was involved in arguing with Lolicons. I only knew his username. I did not know who exactly he was, meaning I did not know that he was some random 12-year-old who shouldn't even have a Twitter or Discord at that age. Also, on that Twitter space, the guy wanted to add things into the discussion himself. I didn't force him to talk about the topic. He wanted to talk about it. That's the context you are intentionally not showing.
And he also makes the claim that anti should be a slur now, or he declares that it's a slur now to him and everyone else who was called an anti, and that Lolicons should have the word pedophile be used as a slur against them. So now he's literally trying to water down the word pedophile more than he already is.
I think jokes are a foreign concept to this man because, my god, he just has this weird mindset to nitpick absolutely everything I say, so he will take the most random shit imaginable and try to use that against me. Absolutely pathetic. Wait, who dat?
I think that's the one with the fox picture or whatever.
Janian?
Hello. Hello. Hi.
Hello.
Yep, I was
How
right.
are y'all doing?
We're terrible. We hate life.
Terrible.
Same. I'm going through a phase of nihilism right now.
So, are you a girl or are you just like a young 13-year-old?
I'm just a young kid, ready to give up on
When you're
life.
13?
Kind of blow. Well, not necessarily.
There's no way. Bro, I'm go. Never mind. I was something that
Go on. It's fine. Alright.
Holy cow. I'm playing hardcore mode right now. I have no idea how this
So, guys, I don't want my parents to yell at me, so I gotta leave. See ya.
You know, Sean, there's a very neat thing you can do to edit out fluff that doesn't need to be in the video. Here's how you do it. Alright, so I use DaVinci Resolve. I don't know what software you use, Sean, but normally when there is fluff like this...
Holy cow. I'm playing hardcore mode right now. I have no idea how this
Usually when there's fluff like that, mind you, if you do not need clips like this where it's just a bunch of fluff, what you can do is right-click on this in the timeline, head over to, where is it, delete selected, or you can press backspace depending on the software you use. Why don't you just like hit delete right there, and boom, you got rid of fluff. There you go. Your video's so much better now. Maybe you should try that once in a while. It's good for your videos, and it'll make you so much more watchable. Just take my advice, Sean. Take my advice.
Okay, I'm just gonna read what Sean
Oh no.
highlighted.
That's
I'm
not
just gonna,
good when he highlights garbage.
Yeah. Persons of ordinary intelligence can discern whether a depiction of virtually indistinguishable from a photograph of a real child engage in explicit conduct. The question is whether a reasonable, unsuspecting viewer would consider the...
I love how you play a clip from the Twitter space that disproves your argument that I invited the person there when they were the ones that joined and they wanted to add to the discussion. I did not force them, they wanted to talk about it. So nice job on destroying your own claims against me.
It really depends.
So if Lolicon being legal makes it morally permissible, then I guess that also means that child marriage in Palestine is also okay, by his logic. I'm just going by his logic.
Yeah, and like...
Yeah, I know. His logic. Because his logic means...
Yeah, and with that logic, like drawings should have human rights according to him. That's an actual argument I saw from an auntie.
I hate the term anti. At this point, anti is a slur.
Every
Okay, listen. If anti... I declare that anti towards us is a slur, and that the slur towards lolicons is pedophile. I declare that reality. Anti is a slur for people with common sense that think lolicon is CP, and the slur towards lolicons is pedophile. Here's why I call it a slur, right? It's because they take a lot of offense to it, right?
Yeah.
They get so aggressively defensive about it and how it's not actually pedophilia that I think it's justified to call it a slur towards them.
So yeah, as you can hear from the audio clips right there from Brother Near's Twitter space, the things that he says is pretty wild.
My guy, it's a fucking joke. You're the only one that's making a big deal out of it.
But it gets so much fucking worse because he goes out of his way to make an AI clone of my darn voice where I sit here and say pedophilic remarks and stuff, talking about how I like to freaking diddle kids or how I want CP and everything. And he also has this minor on the stream says stuff about how I want to do things to him near the end of the darn stream and stuff. And then goes, I don't know where I was going with this. So this whole narrative that Brother New keeps trying to paint of me being some kind of freaking pedo and stuff over drawings is going way too damn far. And it's funny to me because he got so riled up and in his feelings about me saying that he was a potential groomer due to the fact that this dude made an actual sexual joke towards a minor that he constantly hangs around with, and he constantly hangs around minors. Hell, he even has another one in the stream right here like I just showed you guys and gals.
I want you all to keep his moral grandstand here in mind. There is something completely and utterly ironic about this section that I just feel the need to show you all, but I won't do it yet. We'll let Sean have his moment. Let's see what he has to say.
And yet, he wants to sit here and paint this narrative of me being someone who is attracted to children, all because of a fucking anime drawing, and he goes out of his way to make AI clone voices of me and stuff.
Alright, Sean, let me drill it in for you on how you're making a mountain out of a molehill. An AI-generated voice line, which might I add, I pointed out myself in that Twitter space that the voice line was in fact AI-generated, but that was made for comedy purposes. A joke, and you can very easily tell how fake it is. People make AI voice lines of other YouTubers like Jalen all the time. I don't see you calling people out for that. What you're doing is making actual claims against me that are slanderous since you have no proper evidence of me doing such horrific acts. There is a very clear distinction here, and maybe take your own advice and just come to terms with the fact that the AI clip isn't real, it's just an AI saying it. If you can sit there and call your collection of animated child porn just drawings and not real CP, then you should give the same treatment to the AI generated clips I made. I'm launching Soundpad right now. Let me know if you guys can hear this.
Alright.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mitsune Nika, and basically, I like kids. I got exposed by Brother Nier 2.0 for liking kids. Y'all want to spam child porn to this man, please? Thank you, fellow toddler fondlers.
Hold up, guys. ShaunTheLegend said what?
Dude, I hear that.
ShaunTheLegend said what? Hold on, let me play the clip again. Instant replay. Let's instant replay this. Bro, you can tell in that clip that I'm not being serious at all. Just listen to the tone of my voice. I'm very obviously joking there.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mitsune Nika, and basically, I like kids. I got exposed by Brother Nier 2.0 for liking kids. Y'all want to spam child porn to this man, please? Thank you, fellow toddler fondlers.
Definitely. Just gold.
It seems like I was 100% correct, boys.
Oh man. Send me the file of that audio. I'm just gonna send it to
I have more.
There's a lot more and a lot worse as well.
Send to us also, what the hell is a woke McDonald?
Oh, what's an unwoke McDonald?
You know what? Psychonautic therapy? I kind of want to just acknowledge your question towards me about Matilda, alright? Yes, I would fuck her, and let me tell you why. She may not be a drawing, but she do be kind of fine, though.
Dude, that shit genuinely was just the worst shit I heard when you played it the first time. It was just awful.
I know.
Okay.
Also, hey, Lucas, I just noticed him.
Hey,
Oh, yo, Lucas. Dude,
Yo, Lucas.
So yeah, anybody with 2 brain cells that at least function right can see that this is all pretty fucking bad and it's not looking good for Brother Nier 2.0.
Hey guys, I sincerely apologize for the most heinous thing anyone could ever do. That being creating AI-generated clips of a person that denies the fact Lolicon is CP. Fuck, I actually coughed there. Ah, Sean, you never cease to amaze me with how pathetic and sad you are. If this is supposed to be ammunition against me, then I don't think you can be saved, bud. This just makes you look desperate for a gotcha moment.
And the crazy thing about it is that the only reason I said that he's a potential groomer is because of the fact that he made a sexual joke towards a minor.
Kim Josh-un, why do I not have the faggot role? Brother Nier, come over to my house and I'll debate on it. Now, Sean, I'm going to ask you the hardest question I could ever ask anybody regarding that screenshot. What about that screenshot is inherently sexual? I will wait for your answer.
And the fact that this dude kept calling me a pedo first over anime drawings.
Anime drawings that involved underage characters being put into a sex act. I'm not watering down the word pedophilia, you're the one that's watering down CP.
Otherwise that I never even would have came at him so hard for making such a joke if he wasn't trying to come at me over a drawing.
You know what's crazy about that? I never came at you first thing. You came at me. For those of you that don't know, there was a huge drama involving Tipster over Lolicon. After that drama concluded, I decided to report the drawing in question on Twitter. Sean then attacked me on Twitter for doing such a thing, and that's how this drama started and escalated. So no, Sean, I did not start this drama. You did. You even invited your fellow Lolicons to harass me in full force, which is why I deactivated my Twitter for a few days. So if you really think I'm at fault for this drama starting, you're dead wrong.
But now he goes out of his way to make AI clone voices of me saying all this disgusting and nasty shit. So, since he wants to do things like that, I invite Brother Nier 2.0 onto this video himself.
Oh boy, an AI generated clip of me? I wonder how accurate it actually sounds. Let's just hear it for a moment.
What's up, brokies? It's me brother Nier 2.0. I'm here to share with everyone a big announcement on my birthday. I'm proud to say that. I, brother Nier 2.0, am a big-ass, hypocritical pussy bitch about Lolicon content. Because I love Shota dicks. I may hate Lolicons, but I'm a closeted Shotacon. I told my Twitter circle all about this shit.
Oh. Wow. That doesn't even sound like me. A for effort, I suppose. Maybe if you keep practicing, then you'll get there. But then again, you're too stupid to accomplish anything other than making yourself look bad. So, nice try. Better luck next time.
Well, nothing too wild, obviously, because I'm not Brother Nier 2.0 and his edgy-ass crew. But, I'd say it was a pretty spot-on impression any darn ways, and it's pretty right, considering how much of a hypocritical dumbass Brother Nier 2.0 and his whole crew is.
Oh, hypocrisy, Sean? You're gonna go after me for hypocrisy? Alright, everyone. We let Sean have his moment. Now I think it's time we intervene. So, Sean, remember how you tried to push the narrative that I was a groomer over a quote-unquote sexual joke I made towards a minor at the time? Remember how often you would morally grandstand about how making those kinds of comments towards minors was not okay? Remember how you compared me to Seth the programmer for making that joke towards my friend? I want you to swear unto me that you have not done anything like that yourself. You haven't? Cross your heart? Well, okay. If you say so.
No one gives a shit about your one follower account that sucks and swallows Mythical's thumb. Quit tagging me and go get a life, you bottom feeder.
I reached out to you with this very screenshot, and I was met with hostility. You continued to hide in your echo chamber, and not once have you apologized for this creepy and disturbing comment. You are a grown man saying inherently sexual things to a minor, and now all of that moral grandstanding you have done against me in the past has gone straight out the window. And by God, Sean, seriously? Harassing a 12-year-old, saying something like this to them? That's creepy, it's disturbing, it's borderline pedophilic. The fact you thought posting this in response to a 12-year-old was okay speaks volumes about you, especially with the way you tried attacking me for making jokes towards my friends that were never sexual to begin with. I've dragged on this part for long enough, so I'll go ahead and summarize the rest of the video for everybody so that we can move on, because unlike Sean, I don't cherry pick what someone says in their video. Sean claims he never called me a pedophile, even though the term groomer falls under that category. Sean tries to separate pedophilia from grooming because pedophilia is a disorder, but groomers are by definition pedophiles as well. They are not mutually exclusive besides the fact that one has committed a crime and the other hasn't. Sean tries insinuating that it's more likely that I groomed Josh because we're both attracted to men. First of all, that's homophobic, and secondly, when I made that joke to Josh, I still considered myself straight. He also uses that to correlate the ambiguous joke I made, which is your interpretation. I could just use the common Lolicon excuse of, oh, you're the only one that made it sexual, so you're the creep, but I won't do that. Sean tried saying Josh never denied that the joke was sexual, but Josh was the first person ever to make it sexual as a joke. Sean tried claiming that I constantly become friends with minors, which he has no evidence. Josh is an adult now, and we met 2 years ago. I also met X Lucas through YouTube 2 years ago, who is also a minor, and that's pretty much it. Any other instances where I talked to minors, I never considered them friends. One example I'll bring up is a girl that was a victim of predatory activity from a YouTuber named Spookish. I never became friends with her, I only talked to her so that I could help spread awareness of an actual child predator. Any other minors I've ever encountered are on Discord and are mostly fans of my content. I do not talk to them often. Also, if simply allowing minors in my Discord servers makes me a pedophile, then I hope you're more than willing to call out thousands upon thousands of YouTubers that do the same thing. Sean tried saying I was acting depressed in the video. It was not an act. I was depressed, you fuckwit. Normally, when someone like you throws around grooming accusations like a fucking lunatic, any sane person with a brain would become upset. Sean says I have no morals because I make edgy jokes. So like, Should I be serious instead when I reference 9/11? Sean cherry picks again on how Lolicon is apparently not illegal, ignoring the fact that you can get arrested for distributing it and obscenity laws exist under US federal law, which is why Ween and others refer to it as a loophole. Sean unironically took issue with several people joking about how Lolicon should get killed, which I don't know about you, but pedophilia seems to be a pretty good reason to go through with it. Sean tried saying he never harbored any hatred towards me. Sean tried creating a narrative that he wanted us to leave him alone, but what actually happened was I told him to debate me and he bitched out, and then he would continue to slander me and harass others. He tried saying all of us came at his Twitter DMs. Only one guy did. Sean insinuates that I made people make videos on him. No, everyone made a video on you out of their own volition. Badakanta was the first one to go through with it after the Twitter drama happened, and then Thunderstruck115 and Psychonautic Therapy made videos on you in response to your newest video on me at the time. Sean claims he only started more drama with us because we kept harassing him, when he was the one that started it by attacking me first after the tipster drama, and then he invited several Lolicons to harass my Twitter. Once again, we did not start this, you did. Sean claims he called me out for the joke I made because someone notified him about it. This is true. The person that reached out to him was Vincent Martin. Yeah, that guy. Sean tried denying that he stalked my Twitter, when he literally leaked a post out of my Twitter circle and is still stalking me to this day. He claims we stalked his followers and tweets. No, Badakanta looked at your tweets and likes, nobody else did, and he only did that because he was making a video on you. Sean tried saying he was alone in regards to the Twitter drama. That's just a flat out lie, as he had thousands of followers and he invited them to harass me when we first started beefing. Sean claims I contradicted myself for bringing up morality in regards to Lolicon. Okay. Sean claims I don't want to let the drama go. Projection. Sean tried claiming he was never cancelled. Several videos say otherwise, including my own, where several creators came to attest for me. Sean claims the only people that unsubscribed to him were part of my audience. I guess the concept of sharing an audience is foreign to him. Sean begs for sympathy points for being harassed by several people after being exposed for pedophilic material. Oh no, what a pity. Sean tried claiming that this character is older than him. I never realized that 14 is older than 23. Also, the fact he feels the need to say that contradicts his criticism towards Ween for bringing up the age of consent. Oh, and he also said that age is arbitrary. And prison's just a place, am I right? Sean said he would never converse with a minor over the drama. That aged like milk. Sean also confirms that the reason he never reached out to Josh after calling me out for allegedly grooming him was because Josh disagreed with him, because obviously that means you care about the supposed victims, right? He also says another reason is because he doesn't want to talk to minors. That aged like milk. He tried claiming in my Twitter space we questioned Sean saying adults should never converse with minors, because for some ungodly reason he comes off with the mindset that if you talk to any child on the internet that automatically makes you a pedophile. Sean threatens to take me to court. Have fun, buddy. Sean insists that I called him a predator. No, I only called him a pedophile. The terms pedophile, child predator, child molester, and sex offender all have different definitions. And then the worst part of the video comes in where Sean admits that every single slanderous claim he's ever made against me was for revenge. Do I even need to say any more on how much of a scumbag Sean is? And with that, we've reached the end of Sean's 3-hour-long video. Now that we've done that, we can finally move on to something even more damning against Sean. A couple months after I had that drama with Sean, there was another YouTuber, Krilix, that I met through drama and disagreements. Despite our differences, Krilix and I became very good friends. On May this year, Krilix decided one day to make a video on ShaunTheLegend in regards to another video Sean made on Twitter drama. After he uploaded his video, Sean offered a debate with him. For some reason. After I offered him a debate, after Zero Needs Coffee offered him a debate, he declined both of us, but instead offers it to him. This is speculation on my part, but I feel as though the only reason he even considered debating Krilix is because he's the smaller channel. When his video on Sean came out, he only had a little over 400 subscribers. Soon after that, Krilix would start live streaming, and needless to say, it did not go well for Sean. Right off the bat, when Krilix was ready to debate him, Sean bitched out last second, and then he calls over his Twitter audience to attack Krilix's stream, which only benefited Krilix since that became his most viewed stream ever. After Sean called upon his audience, one of his followers showed up and offered to debate Krilix on Sean's behalf. And it was then onward when an entire shit show began.
You know, I was just sitting here playing some Doom, having some real deep thoughts like how the Titanic's pool is still full of water to this day, and then Nier hits up everybody's favorite Leafy clone and is like, hey Krilix, yeah, remember that Sean guy? I'm making a video on him, and you're gonna be in it, and well, you can't really say no to the femboys, so here I am. Now I'm gonna try and keep my side of the story as short and concise as possible, as this video is already gonna be longer than your mother's cock, but like Nier explained earlier, it all started for me when I found ShaunTheLegend's absolutely wonderful channel. You know, I found a video, and I'm like, you know what, there's nothing more fun than making fun of lollitards. So I decided to do that, and well, ShaunTheLegend didn't take that very well. He then challenged me to a debate because of said video, which I found really weird because, you know, he ducked everyone else in their debate. But you know, views are views at the end of the day, so I accepted. Now in the days leading up to the debate, I tried to be as accommodating as possible to his schedule, as even though he's a Lolicon, I was trying to be somewhat respectful, which that was my first mistake. But we ended up getting on stream together, and I assume he was trying to rickroll me, as that's what he said on his fucking Twitter, but his dumbass had himself muted for like the 3 minutes, assuming he was playing music, which he's a fucking lollitard, so you can't really expect the brightest mind out of him. But he ended up leaving, and since his fan base was in the chat, I was like, hey, any of y'all want to come on there? And one of them decided to come on the stream. Who the fuck is calling me? Well, apparently I'm gonna be arrested and deported out of the country unless I give some random Indian dude $500 worth of Google Play gift cards, so I better go ahead and finish up this recording. Now back on topic, one of them decided to come on stream, and he was a fucking retard. You know what? Retard is a fucking understatement for how fucking stupid this guy was, alright? He tried saying CP isn't fucking real.
There is no such thing as CP. CP means
There's
child
no
pornography.
such thing as child porn. There's no such thing as child porn,
Yeah, because
really?
pornography requires consent.
He also didn't know what the Library of Congress was, you know, the biggest library in the entire fucking world. He also said that lolly should be allowed because it makes people happy. What is the benefit we have for lolly existing?
For example, it makes people happy.
And after looking at that, it's pretty apparent that the dirt under my shoe has a higher average IQ rating than the fucking lollitards. But this segment is not about that retard, right? This segment is about a very special, some would say legendary, retard. Now we get into ShaunTheLegend. Now if I were to sit here and address the entire hour-long debate I had with ShaunTheLegend, we would be here all fucking night. So instead, I'm going to be addressing the main points and the most common points used by Sean against other people when it comes to him debating Lolicon. If you want an entire video discussing and refuting most if not all of the points that Lolicons use in favor of Lolicon existing, then hopefully by the time of this video dropping, I will have a video ready on that very subject. Now the fact that this discussion needs to take place in the first place is completely mind-boggling to me, but as is with life, there will always be someone that has a differing opinion of your own. With that being said, I would like to get into the first main argument that they use, and probably the argument they use the most when it comes to Lolicon. It's just a drawing. Now while the statement that Lolicon is indeed a drawing isn't inherently incorrect, it is much like saying the Nazi flag is, well, just a flag. To ignore the purpose, meanings, and implications of said images is at best willful ignorance, and at worst, a case of denialism in an attempt to avoid calling themselves what they are, a pedophile. Now some may take offense to me calling them a pedophile, in which case I think they are completely justified. After all, most if not all people don't want to be called that. However, if you want us to stop calling you a pedophile, it is up to you to change, not us. Now others may take me calling them as a pedophile as me calling them a criminal. I'm not. Unfortunately, it is not illegal to be a pedophile. It is only illegal to act on those pedophilic desires. I would also like to point out that a lot of these Lolicons, such as ShaunTheLegend himself, have an issue with a scene in a certain game called Baldur's Gate 3, in which your player character has the ability to have intercourse with a bear. Now, while this bear is technically by the game's logic not a bear, merely a person that transformed into a bear, it is essentially the same logic that Lolicons like to use to justify them jerking it off to drawings of underage kids. And by that, I mean the stereotypical lolly character that looks like she's 8 years old but is in context of the lore an 800-year-old vampire. Now, while that example may seem extreme, it unfortunately is not. That scenario is all too common within the Lolicon community. Now, some of them may use the argument that the bear scene in Baldur's Gate 3 looks infinitely more realistic than an anime drawing, in which case, I would agree in the fact that it does look more realistic than an anime drawing. However, I feel that most people would agree that pedophilia is much worse than bestiality. And with that being said, I have a much lower tolerance when it comes to anything pedophilic in nature, no matter how unrealistic. Now, if you have heard what I have had to say on this point specifically, and are still wondering how I came to my beliefs and my conclusions, then simply by you asking that has shown that you are beyond me even remotely being able to help you. Now, the second point I would like to address is another argument they use quite often, that being, because Lolicon isn't illegal, it is okay. This in itself is what is called the appeal to law fallacy, in which something merely being legal or illegal makes it right or wrong, which I feel most people would agree that is a very terrible way of basing your morals. For example, just because it is legally okay for you as a doctor to get your patient hooked on antidepressant medications that they will no longer be able to live without, that does not make what you have done morally okay. Another example would be a law coming from the United Kingdom, in which it makes it illegal for you to own a dog that even remotely looks like a pit bull. Just because it is illegal for you to own a pit bull in the UK does not make it morally wrong to own said dog breed. Now, with these examples, I am sure that the average person watching this would be able to come to the conclusion that just because something is legal does not make it morally okay. Now, of course, you will have the lolicons that will watch this and still disagree even with the evidence right in their face. That is just unfortunately how they are as a person. The third point I would like to bring up is that lollies are just petite women. This is inherently false, even admitted by ShaunTheLegend himself when he read the very definition of lolicon on my stream.
Lolicon is a genre of fictional media in which young girl characters appear in romantic or sexual context.
Now, what these lolicons love to do is run with a mere part of the definition when it comes to lolicon as a form of media. Now, while it is true that a lolly character could not be 8 years old, but indeed have the appearance of an 8-year-old, it is very clear what the intent is when you have what looks to be an 8-year-old in a sexual position. And to deny otherwise is another case of denialism. And when it comes to lollies being petite women, you're going to be very hard-pressed to find any sort of woman in the real world without a birth defect that looks like an actual child. And in the case that you do find said individual, if you are merely attracted to them because they resemble the appearance of a child, that is inherently pedophilic. Now, what most lolicons will say after hearing that is that I am body shaming the person and saying that they cannot have a relationship with anyone because of their appearance, which couldn't be further from the case. I am not shaming the person's body. They cannot control what they look like in that instance. However, what I am shaming is your attraction to what their body resembles. If you are attracted to the appearance of a 12-year-old, even though the person isn't physically 12 years old, you are still a pedophile. Now, the final point I would like to address is when they try and say that you were the one with skeletons in your closet because of what you were saying, and that you are the pedophile for seeing a child. Now, just because I see a child in what is very obviously meant to represent a child does not mean I'm a pedophile by any means. The fact I even have to defend myself against this is completely and utterly retarded. A perfect example is a man by the name of Hasbullah, who was, I believe, 19 or 20 years old, but has the very clear appearance of a child. Just because someone sees Hasbullah as looking like a child, that does not make that person a pedophile. I'm sure any normal person would see Hasbullah and assume he is a child without knowing his full story. Now, when it comes to the case of Lolicon, you're going to be hard-pressed to find an excuse for the characters looking the way they do, other than the fact that they are purposely designed to represent what looks like a child. Now, with that being said, that is indeed the last point I want to cover within this short amount of time I have, relatively speaking, on this video. Now, thank you, Nier, for having me on here, and once again, if y'all wish to see a more in-depth discussion on this topic, I will hopefully have a video ready to be released by the time this video drops. Now, with that all out of the way, I think it's about time I let Nier continue with his destruction of ShaunTheLegend.
A couple more things to note in regards to Sean's debate with Krilix is that during that time frame, Sean requested in Krilix's chat that I would show up on stream before he would begin the debate. I accepted and joined Krilix's stream, and then Sean tried twisting the narrative on Twitter by saying Krilix needed me on there in order to debate Sean. We unfortunately couldn't get receipts for this, as by the time Krilix could get the screenshot, he was blocked by Sean on Twitter, and the account Sean posted it under is now suspended. Sean also backtracked at one point about the person that defended him on stream, at first saying the person was dumb for saying CP doesn't exist, but then goes on to say he won against Krilix. So now not only will Sean twist things and straight up lie in order
order to make you look cowardly or bad, but he also has a long history of backtracking and many variations of just downright manipulative behavior. Sean brought up Krilix recently in a new video of his regarding another YouTuber who will be featured in just a moment, but Sean tried showing off a good portion of the debate thinking it made him look good while calling Krilix a numbskull. He comes off as though he thinks of himself highly compared to others, like he thinks he has some sort of higher intelligence than us, or people against Lolicon in general. Anyways, I think this is a nice segue into the next part. On to more recent events, I met a YouTuber named Mythical. I found him because of a community post he made saying that ShaunTheLegend was slandering him. Later on, I would join his Discord server and catch up with his drama. He made his video on Sean debunking everything he said, and then Sean made a cope response towards him. After Sean uploaded his video, Mythical started streaming shortly after, featuring me and Wailing Gecko on there. During that stream, Sean deleted the video and then re-uploaded it to include out-of-context clips in the beginning of the video. The most desperate gotcha tactic Sean has ever pulled thus far. Now, in regards to everything else that happened between Mythical and Sean, I invite Mythical to come and provide some much needed context. Take it away, Mythy Myth.
Hey guys, what's up? It's your boy Mythical. If you didn't know, I am one of Sean's victims and one of his latest victims because he has harassed me recently and basically lied about my name and tried to destroy my reputation. Sean the Pedo has made 4 videos on me so far, basically just slandering me and all of that other shit. Sean has falsely accused me of botting my channel when that's not the case whatsoever. I mean, I've easily debunked it on my live stream response I made to him and one of my main channel videos I made to him. He also falsely accused me of trying to suicide bait when he shows no proof whatsoever of any of this happening. And also, Sean tried to falsely accuse me as a groomer because I have minors on my Discord server. I guess by Sean's logic, if a YouTuber has a Discord server, they are automatically a groomer because minors are going to be in them servers anyway. And his other reason of calling me a groomer is because I had a minor in my livestream chat, which is really stupid because my livestream had nothing to do with not safe for work shit. The whole livestream was literally me getting banned off of Twitter, but no, the Lolicons came in my livestream and raided it and wanted to talk about pornography when minors were already on the stream, so they should be responsible, not me. But I do want to bring this up real quick. Sean, weren't you the guy who was talking to a 12-year-old knowingly about some sexual shit? Yes, Sean, that's kind of bad, isn't it? But then you did it again towards one of my friends, Wailing Gecko, who is a 16-year-old. So that's twice now, Sean, that you've been weird towards a minor, and you're 23 years old. I wouldn't be surprised if there was more people who you did this to. I actually want to bring this up real quick because I find this hilarious. So Sean has been caught using alternate accounts to defend himself anywhere he goes. I recently made a tweet about it, just proving that Sean uses alt accounts. And of course, here's the proof here right now if you want to check it out yourself. So basically, Sean made a community post and he accidentally snitched on himself like a fucking idiot. Imagine being caught in 4K because of your own stupidity. I already knew that Sean was retarded, but I didn't know it was this bad. But hey, you shouldn't really expect too much from a pedophile. Well, except from a lot of stupidity, because that's what Sean has. Well, anyway, yeah, this is my part. I hope Nir's happy with this, and I hope he isn't very angry with me right now, because I will cry. Well, anyway, go and check me out if you enjoyed this part of my video, and yeah, enjoy the rest of the video. Oh yeah, and by the way, Sean is a
The drama between Mythical and Sean is a very clear example of how Sean will do absolutely anything he can in order to ruin someone's reputation, and he only does this out of pure spite and or to justify his inherently pedophilic attraction. Sean has recently stated in a community post that he's moved on from the drama, but he's also made cope tweets regarding Mythical, and this was during the time frame where Mythical was streaming a live response to him. Sean pretty much had no argument when Mythical responded to him live, except delete the video he made, then add in out-of-context clips from that same live stream in order to make us look bad. Mythical has also had quite the drama with several people just like Sean. A lot of Sean's Twitter accounts have been suspended during the spat, and he is currently ban evading as we speak in order to keep festering his echo chamber. He was also caught making alt accounts on Twitter in order to spite Mythical even further. When the account in question denied the fact it was Sean, we found out days later that the account was rebranded, and it was rebranded to Sean's username. So don't take Sean's word at face value regarding anything drama related, especially when he tries to say he wants to move on. A common pattern that was established with him is where he will play the victim if you dare to even respond to him. You don't even have to attack him over anything. If you respond to Sean in any way, shape, or form, he will play the victim and take anything you say out of proportion. So before we move on to the final part, I do want to drill in something. Pretty much everything that I've covered in this video My first video on Sean Predicted. The only reason you're doing all of this is because you have a personal vendetta against me. And because despite the fact you've said numerous times that you're done with me and the drama, you don't want the drama to actually die. This is slander, and I won't tolerate it. I know for a fact that Sean will act like I'm doing the same thing to him, but my accusations are not baseless. Yours are. You targeted harass me with your community of scumbags. You participate in campaigns to mass flag anybody that disagrees with you. You gossip on anybody that just so happens to despise the concept of lolicons. You deflect any and all criticism with extremely childish remarks. And I know that once this video comes out, if Sean even bothers to watch this entire thing, he's gonna continue. I know he will. He would then go on to continue. He would repeat the cycle, slander people, deflect, project, attack people, downplay criticism, protect his tweets, and rile up his echo chamber, make alt accounts to rile people up more, beg for sympathy while simultaneously weaponizing people's darkest moments against them, and even destroy his own moral grandstanding against me by making sexual comments towards minors. I don't know how I can even make it any more apparent on what type of person Sean is. He's extremely desperate, completely hypocritical, has a severe case of denialism when it comes to the material he consumes being inherently pedophilic. He will make mountains out of molehills and accuse you of anything fallacious while doing fallacious things himself ad fucking nauseum. This is ShaunTheLegend. This is his character. You can't win with him, only he is right, and anyone that disagrees with him in his eyes is the real pedophile or the real groomer, and as a last fucking resort, they will go mass flag you and try to silence you in any way they can. It's funny actually, how we came to this point. I knew Sean would do something like this. I knew he would continue. Everything that's led up to this point, I saw it coming, because this isn't the first time I've dealt with people like this. With the whole drama that he started with me, the debate he had with Krilix, the drama he had with Mythical, and many others, it's no wonder that Sean stays the way that he is. Irrelevant and despised. And if you don't want to take it from me, take it from the witnesses.
The fact that ShaunTheLegend keeps getting himself into situations like this is fucking mind-boggling to me. You think after the first time months ago he would learn from his mistakes and his past wrongdoings, but no. The retard is out here making the same mistakes he did months ago. I used to think that everyone had a chance at redemption, and to some extent that may be true for a lot of people, but ShaunTheLegend is not one of those people. I have spoken to the man personally myself, and the dude is too stubborn, too hard-headed, and won't listen to anyone but himself and his echo chamber. And I know Sean will clap back saying that we have an echo chamber of our own, which couldn't be further from the truth. Our group, if you could even call it that, is extremely diverse, from people from different countries, states, religions, backgrounds, all sorts of stuff. And a lot of us have vastly differing beliefs than others. However, when a pedophile, such as ShaunTheLegend, decides to attack one of our own, well, you bet your ass that we're going to be pretty unified against that. But I'm veering off topic here. My thoughts on ShaunTheLegend, my closing thoughts that is that, well, he's a fucking retard, first of all. Secondly, he's irredeemable. He can't come back from the position he has put himself in. Multiple people, including myself, have tried to talk things out with him. It didn't work, and it probably never will. The dude is too caught up in his own beliefs to hear anything an opposing side has to say. The guy would rather attempt to quote-unquote troll the person rather than have an actual discussion with them, even when he's the one who offered the discussion in the first place. And lastly, he's a pathetic excuse for a human being. The dude has fallen so far down the degeneracy rabbit hole to a place where he can no longer crawl out of. He has made what he consumes on the internet his entire personality. That alone is not good for an individual, but especially when you make your personality about Lolicon of all things. I don't understand how one makes their entire personality, I jerk off to Lolicon, but ShaunTheLegend has managed to do that very thing. You, Sean, are in denial, and are too much of a coward to call yourself what you really are, a pedophile. And if there does indeed turn out to be an afterlife after this world, there's going to be a very special place in hell for someone like you, Sean.
So my whole opinion on this drama with Sean and everyone else is kind of fucking gay. This whole drama with Sean would have never happened if Sean actually was as a man and stopped being a little bitch about every single thing anyone says. The whole reason why Sean went after me was because I went after his idol. Like, bro, just get over it. Who gives a fuck if I went after your little idol of yours? The person who you look up to, Sean, is a pedophile. And yes, I'm saying he's a pedophile because he defends Lolicon 24/7 and is most likely a Lolicon himself. And anyone with a brain will know that Lolicons are pedophiles. And Sean, I can see you having your little suicidal mental breakdown. You should keep going, because it's funny. You might think that I'm being a little too harsh for my part right now, but keep this in mind as well. Sean is a pedophile, so I think this is justified. So yes, Sean, fuck off. No one wants you around anymore. You are a little pedophile. And you know what? You actually groomed me, Sean. You groomed and touched me when I was a kid, Sean. So the only thing that can cure me from my trauma is that everyone watching right now subscribes to my channel. Anyway, see you guys later.
You know, I can't say I personally know Sean, but I used to be a fan of his. I still don't know how, considering how poorly constructed his videos are, but I was nonetheless. I went to his channel one day to subscribe to him, and that's where I found Badakanta's video. And from there, my opinion on Sean just completely shifted. I made my videos on him, which he somehow found, and he just wanted to immediately dismiss them as nothing burgers. How ironic. And after the whole debacle with Sean died out, I didn't think I'd find myself talking about him again, yet here we are. The fact that this is even happening at all is absolutely insane to me. And what makes it worse is that this could have all been avoided if he just kept his fucking mouth shut. And to add to it, he made it so much worse than he should have. If it was some petty internet beef over Rev, I personally wouldn't have cared, but no, he just had to go and make it personal. His piss poor defenses never cease to amaze me either, and they're nothing short of comedy gold. You also have to be a real spineless bitch to make 4 videos on someone, one of them being an hour long and deleting it not even an hour later. I honestly don't know how he keeps digging the hole deeper and deeper, but if he keeps it up, he's gonna dig a hole deeper than the Mariana Trench. And Sean, I know you're seeing this, so I just want to say that I was naive enough to have high expectations for you. I thought you had promise here on YouTube. But if this is how you're going to act and treat people, and especially if you defend liking little kids, I no longer have any level of respect for you. Fuck you, Sean. Do better.
You know, I'm pretty sure I've not had a single pleasant interaction with Shawnee even before it was discovered he likes little girls. The first interaction I ever had with him was when I criticized him in a community post for being obsessed with Griffin Gaming, which he ended up finding upon scrolling through my whole community tab because I never pinged him, and responded in his own post by playing the victim like I killed his fucking dog or something. And after the whole cheese pizza situation, it certainly didn't get better since he was looking for any way to deflect his sick desires onto everyone else, myself included, despite me trying to be nice by offering to get him professional help and even pay for the first session. Of course, things didn't get any better since he impolitely refused my offer and instead decided to go full mask off to appease like 8 people on Twitter, and that's how it's been until now. It says a lot when he'd rather be an EDP protege than admit his faults. And whenever anyone definitively proves that his precious kiddie pics are illegal, with sources cited from the US government websites and 5-star law firms, he completely ignores them and pretends he never saw them, which is everything you need to know about him. This never should have even been a drama or even a conversation to begin with, but lo and behold, Shawnee keeps perpetuating every drama he's in and wants to drag anyone to his vile and disgusting level. At this point he's beyond saving, and it's not worth even trying to get through his thick skull, except literally. In Minecraft, of course.
You know, I already mentioned it in some capacity before that I didn't like Shaun the Sped long before this Lolicon drama started, mostly because of his cringe-ass opinions, how two-faced he is, and the fact that he sounds like a pig eating its slop whenever he speaks. But seeing how he's handled this situation over the last 6 months has only vindicated me on that, given the fact that we're yet again listening to him cry victim and make excuses when he agitated the situation once again to where it is, all because someone dared to call Lolicon out for the sewage it is. It's literally a rinse and repeat of the drama, right down to him trying to use Mythical's suicidal breakdown as ammunition in an argument, because there's no line this retard won't cross in order to defend his stupid fucking fetish. Though I think he stooped so low mainly because there's legitimately no defense for Lolicon, both in general and in Sean's case especially, when you consider he's been flapping his gums about Nier, the community, and quote, antis, unquote, for half a year now, and yet he's not made one cogent argument in favor of his Chinese cartoon CP. No, instead he rambles and moves the subjects around in the hopes of getting everyone as lost as he is. He's a waste of oxygen in every sense of the fucking word. So Sean, before you inevitably make a 4-hour dog shit video of you just fingering your ears and screaming la 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 la, just don't bother. We've made it clear we don't want you. The other freaks on Twitter have made it clear they don't want you. You clearly never had a father figure in your life, otherwise this never would have been a conversation in the first place. So do the world a favor and find literally anything else to do with your dull life. At least until the day you inevitably jump in front of a speeding bus. And look forward to that day, because when the passengers ask about the tiny bump they just felt, that'll be the closest thing to an impact you'll ever have on anyone's life.
You know, it absolutely amazes me ShaunTheLegend still has a following after the drama with Brother Near, where he absolutely slandered Brother Near in possibly one of the worst ways you could possibly do it. Because after the video that Near dropped on, well, I should say ShaunTheLegend, we came to find out that he didn't do this with good intentions. He did this with bad intentions. Because after the video that Brother Near dropped on him, yeah, get a load of this. We found out that he only did this to get revenge on Brother Near after he was being called out by Brother Near. And those same jokes that you could damn Brother Near of doing, you were just caught making these type of jokes to minors online, on Twitter and YouTube. And now you're doing the same process over again, except with a different YouTuber named Mythical. Do you think the first time didn't work out for a real reason, ShaunTheLegend?
So here is my experience with ShaunTheLegend. In early 2022, Griffin Gaming had a massive Spurg session on livestream regarding the Ackman's Vanguard video. This caught the attention of several people who made videos on them, one of which was ShaunTheLegend, who I watched his video and I probably left a comment on there, I can't remember for sure. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the extent of my interaction with ShaunTheLegend prior to the Lolicon drama happening earlier this year. And when that happened, I immediately sided with Nier, Batakanta, Psychotic Therapy, and anybody else that had more than 2 brain cells to rub together, and realized that jerking off to drawings of children is not fucking okay. I made a video calling him out, I called him out in several of my community posts, I called him out on Twitter, well, at least until he blocked me, because as the old saying goes, if you can't beat him, block him. I did a voiceover for Brother Near 2.0 for his video on the situation, and ShaunTheLegend would just keep deflecting and projecting at literally every single opportunity. Now he's dragging another YouTuber into this by the name of Mythical, and upon seeing Mythical call him out, he got his Lolicon defense squad to go mass flag his Twitter account, which is completely fucking ironic because he was accusing us of mass targeting him because we didn't like him, yet here he is, mass targeting Mythical because he doesn't like him. And what's even more fucking ironic is that ShaunTheLegend is accusing us of perpetuating old drama when here he is, perpetuating old drama. I seriously thought this shit died like 5 months ago, but nope. And before you say it was because Mythical made a video on the situation, no, go to Sean's channel and you can tell he's been coping and seething about people calling him a pedophile over the past couple months, which is a well-deserved title considering he is on record stating that he wanted to fuck a 14-year-old character from an anime who was clearly drawn as a child. So Sean, last time I was here I told you to go seek mental help, but after all your pedophilia and your lies and your slander, honestly you're just too far gone at this point, and if there's anything I can agree with Griffin on, it's that I would not care if you died in a house fire. In fact, if anything, I would throw a fucking party to celebrate it.
I've personally never really had much interaction with Sean, and I luckily haven't had any Lolicons coming after me because of my video on him. I used to have a good amount of respect for you, Sean. Your editing wasn't the best, but I did like your content. But after saying shit like, this underage character is fuckable, misinterpreting your spat with Nier on Twitter, and that stupid joke between Nier and Josh that people won't shut the fuck up about to this day, my respect for you has taken quite the hit. Granted, I do have less respect for Saith, Genortard, and the rest of his brain-dead drones, but you're not much better in comparison, especially since you blasted through Batakanta's video as if he had nothing good to say, kinda like how Saith did with Nier. And you beefing with Mythical sure as hell doesn't help my opinion of you. Say what you will about my drama with X Lucas, but at least I had the balls to apologize, take the L, and take down my videos. You've probably heard this a million times, Sean, but shape up. Do better.
Well, the femboy has dragged me out of my hole of making another D&D campaign, thank you Baldur's Gate 3, so I could give my summary of this stupid drama, and my interactions with Sean the Lolicon. Well, going back to how this all started, with Sean interjecting himself into the tipster drama all to attack Nier, and eventually getting his echo chamber to help bully him off Twitter, temporarily at least. Well, jumping ahead of a lot of the harassment and back and forth on Twitter, this all culminated in Batakanta making a video about Sean to help take some of the attention off of Nier, and spread awareness of the situation. Sean later made an abortion of a follow-up, and that's where I really got involved. I mean, originally I did participate a bit on Twitter, but I never even went after Sean for Lolicon stuff at first. I was mostly addressing how much of a disingenuous cunt Sean was really being, and for bringing up stuff like near suicidal state from his past against him. And I really wish I could dive more in depth on all this, because I couldn't even cover it all in my own video responding to his. Either way, it progressed into Sean slandering Nier and making another 3-hour abortion of a video defending Lolicon and continuing his narrative on Nier, even though he claimed to have moved on from the drama multiple times. So now here we are, where he's made it his entire personality to defend this material. Well, how surprising. So, in short, I originally called out Sean for his lying and disingenuous behavior, and I really don't understand how he's still screaming and dying on this hill. I really don't understand how Sean can make this his entire personality online, defending this fetishized animated CP. I mean, it has to be absolutely draining making this everything you are, and it's no wonder you're such an unlikable, disgusting excuse and scab of a human. And one last thing, Sean, seriously, just stop looking at drawings of kids if you want people to stop calling you a pedophile.
This drama has been utterly pathetic, especially when Mythical has been accused of grooming/pedophilia for quote-unquote allowing minors in their server, which means absolutely nothing because pedophilia means that you're making sexual acts/comments. This is not pedophilia. If you haven't known, this isn't the first time he's done this. He's also accused Nier of grooming Kim Josh-un over a joke screenshot. This is complete bogus because this joke wasn't even sexual. The sexual comment towards me, although did not bother me, although I will admit that this was a highly inappropriate comment telling me to suck on cum. After this, he's been on complete damage control, being a complete nuisance, with constant whataboutisms and red herrings, using EDP as a scapegoat for this. He's been off the hook for this long and being highly empathetically disingenuous throughout this and the past drama with Sean, and has been arguably psychopathic with what he's done, just to defend his own degeneracy. But, in the meantime, this is where I head off. Thank you, Nier.
So initially, I was dragged into this drama because I wanted to join Mythical's livestream about him getting banned from Twitter. And that's when a bunch of Lolicons came in and completely changed the topic and also raided the stream. This is where one of Sean's claims come in, where Mythical is being called a groomer and a pedophile because at the time I was 16 years old and I was in a call with him live. Sean tried twisting it and trying to make it seem like me and the 13-year-old are victims of Mythical, when that is not the case at all. I've known Mythical since he was like 17 years old, and I was around 14 or 15 years old when I met him. Me and him ended up becoming good friends, and that's how it's been since like 2022. The fact that Sean is claiming I'm a victim just because I was on a call with him on stream absolutely pisses me off because Mythical never did shit to me. He's one of my best friends. And that's kind of why I joined this drama in the first place, because I wanted to defend Mythical from these false accusations because I know they aren't true, and I wanted to try and help prove that he's innocent. As for the 13-year-old, we tried telling him to leave, but there was no actual way to ban him. There's a way to prevent him from chatting, but that's all it does. He would have still been watching the stream anyways. Speaking of which, my part in Mythical's video was quote-unquote debunked in Sean's new video, and he said shit like making fun of my voice, saying it sounds gay and feminine. It's pretty weird that you're insulting the same person you think is a victim just because they went out of their way to defend Mythical over these false accusations. But you know what? Fuck what the quote-unquote victim says. Anyways, he said multiple times that I'm on Mythical's meat and I should be on someone else's meat, which is extremely weird to say considering the fact that I'm currently 17 years old as I'm recording this. Hell, you even said the exact same shit in your video when you got to my part of the video. But let's be honest, that is not as bad as the fact that you told a 12-year-old boy to go suck and swallow on Mythical's cum. The worst part is that you even knew he was 12 because you tried to use him against Brother Nier in the past as well. So why exactly did you make a sexual comment towards the kid? Like, when I saw that shit, I was absolutely fucking disgusted. But moving on, don't even get me started on him twisting my words of what I said on Mythical's stream. What I said is that some people end up becoming victims of pedophilia because of people consuming lolly. Instead, he twisted it onto me saying that every Lolicon is the reason that they are victims. I will admit, I could have explained it a little bit better because I'm not great when it comes to talking in front of a lot of people, especially live, as I stutter a lot, but at least notice what I was trying to explain in the live stream instead of twisting it, and having your brain-dead fanbase calling me things like a fucking idiot. I mean, you legit cut the clip to make it seem like that's actually what I meant, but if you actually played the entire clip, you would understand what I was trying to say. Keep in mind, this is the same guy calling me a victim of one of my online best friends. But there you go, that's what I meant. The things I realized during this situation is that Sean's YouTube content alone is very dangerous for the platform, as kids are everywhere on YouTube, and some parents sadly don't know how to keep an eye on their kids. Luckily, Sean doesn't have that much influence on YouTube, as he has been exposed to the fact that he uses alt accounts by watching his videos over and over again. But there is always a chance that a kid will come and see his content and be influenced by someone like Sean, that lolly is a good thing and they end up becoming a pedophile themselves. But seriously, talking about drawn CP and defending it on a platform that is possibly filled with a lot of kids is extremely bad. And it's even worse when people like RevSesDesu have over 100k subscribers. But that is all I really wanted to talk about with ShaunTheLegend. The last thing I want to say is, Sean, if you're watching this, you're a lying and a manipulative piece of shit who loves twisting the situation to prove you aren't a pedophile and claim I'm a fucking victim of Mythical, and claiming I said shit that isn't even true, which is hypocritical because you're the one who said and done a lot more fucked up shit to me and the other kid who is almost 13 years old. By the way, I love how you never addressed what you said to that kid in the quote-unquote exposed video, by the way. Anyways, this will probably be the last time I will talk about this guy, as I want to move on and focus on my channel and also my group channel. I do think getting into internet drama is absolutely cringe and not worth your time at all, especially when the topic is about lolicons who will keep doubling down and twisting information like this retard. And honestly, I have a lot of better things to do. So if you really are watching Sean, go fuck yourself, and I hope you get terminated from YouTube, because the influence you can put on people with just your content alone, especially on kids, is absolutely dangerous. Anyways, this is the last time I'm going to be talking about this loser. And if he ends up making another video on this one, and he tries twisting what I say again, I'm just not going to fucking respond because I've already said what I needed to say. Anyways, I would like to thank you for letting me talk about him one last time, Nier. And to everyone watching this video who actually sees the problem with these people, thank you for supporting us. Because it absolutely baffles me that this many people are on this guy's side despite how much shit he has twisted. Anyways, that's it for me. This is Wailing Gecko signing off.
Congratulations, Sean. You have fallen into a pit that you cannot get out of. I encourage you to try, but in the end, your efforts will be futile. Make your videos. Say your piece. No one will believe you. Or at least, no one with any sanity left will. This will be the last time I ever speak of you in a video. Any other times in the future, I'll cover on stream, if you tempt me enough. After all, you are my personal lol cow. So yes, Sean has repeated the cycle, and has dug his grave even deeper. And I think I speak for everybody when I say, you've destroyed your own career, which is me being generous since you never had one to begin with. I am Brother Nier, and I cannot wait to see how much Sean will cry my name after he sees this. Good night.